Today I'm going to cover the topic of controlled crying. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we did with our twins, what worked for us, and I will cover my thoughts and feelings on controlled crying as a method to get babies to sleep. And we co-slept with our babies, and when they were around 11 months, we started to notice that they weren't very happy sleeping in our bed anymore. They were showing signs that I took to meant they were ready to transition into a cot. I didn't actually research kind of sleep training methods or anything. I just put together a little idea in my head that I would put them in the cots, and if they were crying, I would give them about 15 minutes, and then I would come and intervene. The idea for me was that I could understand they were going to cry because the cots were new, but if I never put them in there, they were never going to learn to sleep in there, so there has to be a middle ground. We actually got really lucky with the boys because I honestly do feel they were ready for that transition. The first night, they didn't actually cry for 15 minutes. They kind of grizzled and complained on and off. Not kind of continuously enough for me to go and intervene. I left them to it, and both of them went to sleep within the first 45 minutes. I don't think that I would have pushed them very far with the controlled crying if the transition hadn't been so easy, in all honesty. I say this because I think I found it so easy to transition them because they really clearly were ready. And if controlled crying had been taking a little bit longer to work, I think I would have brought them back into bed with me and just sort of muddled through. I know that people say in order to have controlled crying be effective, you need to do it over a period of time. I just don't think, personal level, I don't think I'd be comfortable letting them to cry for such a prolonged period. I guess again it would depend on the circumstances. In terms of what we do with them now, they are 18 months, so it's obviously been quite a while since they transitioned to their cot. The only time they really cry when they're going to sleep is if something isn't right. So that's an easy cue for me to know that they actually need me. Sometimes at bedtime, they can do a little bit of grizzling and complaining, I guess. But I will leave them to it with that. If they're probably crying, then I will go offer them more milk. If I know that they're teething or they're sick, then they can have a shot of Calpol. And if that doesn't help them get off to sleep, then they can come into bed with me. Controlled crying is a very black and white area, and there's a real strong line of division with some mums, saying they could never leave their baby to cry for any period of time, and it's neglectful. And there are other mums who say it's actually really beneficial. I'm somewhere in the middle. As I said, I don't think I could have done it for a prolonged period of time because I just would have assumed, hey, this isn't working. If anyone was sort of talking to me about their experience with controlled crying, I would make sure I was listening openly and understanding their point of view. I don't think it's necessarily neglectful. It depends the age of the child, the length of the crying, the type of the crying. There's just a lot of factors to consider there. I'm not going to judge anyone who does controlled crying because if it works for you, it works for you. It's, that's really important. Parenthood is such a big journey, and there's such a lot of navigating. I think if you find the thing that works for you, then do it.